What's going on? Welcome back to my channel. Listen, man, today is the first day of rapper Lil Durk's trial. Crazy, right? Lil Durk is a big time rapper. He's from Chicago, but I think he moved from Chicago when he got more successful and made more money. I think he moved to Atlanta and also California. So Lil Durk is in trial for allegedly hiring people to kill Quando Rondo. Quando Rondo is another rapper that, ended up fighting his friend King Vaughn a few years ago, and King Vaughn and Quando Rondo was fighting. Then Quando Rondo's friend and family member, Lil Tim, shot King Vaughn, which is wild and sad. You know what I mean? Ever since then, Lil Durk had revenge and tried to murder for hire, try to hire people to kill Quando Rondo. So this is the reason why he's on trial, why he's been in jail for like a year or so. So let's react to the news clip and also react to a YouTuber called Cuff Boys, man. Let's get into it.
That part is Lil Durk allegedly targeted a rival rapper in a murder for hire scheme in Los Angeles. He has been arrested.
As Eyewitness News reporter Annabelle Munoz found out, federal officials say it was a family member of the intended target who ended up being killed by hitmen.
He's 32, a successful rapper, and a Grammy Award winner. Federal authorities say Lil Durk is also behind an alleged murder for hire plot.
It is a very violent crime. You're talking about someone losing their life and perhaps another individual was the target.
Chicago rapper Durk Banks was arrested near Miami International Airport Thursday night.
Anything you want to say about your son?
His family seen leaving his first court appearance today. A federal complaint says Banks put a bounty on a rival rapper in response to the killing of a close friend in 2020. Roughly 2 years later, this deadly shooting unfolded at a gas station near the Beverly Center in August of 2022. Investigators named several defendants and alleged co-conspirators they say stalked and attempted to murder the rival rapper, and instead ended up killing a relative who was with the target at the time. The indictment says this is a photo of the three individuals who fired gunshots at the busy intersection.
What they have shared so far is a tremendous amount of information, especially as it comes to the planning involved in this alleged hit for hire. Weapons were supplied, ski masks were supplied. Those weapons were modified to make at least one of them an automatic weapon.
And chat, the crazy thing is these guys, after them guys did the shooting, them guys with the In-N-Out burger, and they changed their shirts, but they didn't change their shoes. You know what I mean? These guys went to In-N-Out Burger, and also the car that they was using to look for Quando Rondo had a GPS on it. Crazy.
Authorities say Banks flew into Los Angeles the day before the killing by private plane. They also allege the purchase of flights from Chicago to SoCal and a hotel reservation for the alleged co-conspirators was from accounts linked to Banks and his music collective OTF, adding that around that time, iCloud records show that a phone number associated with Banks texted an alleged co-conspirator, quote, "Don't book no flights under no names involved with me."
See, that right there was pretty big in the news that, and a lot of people really talking about that because they say, okay, he said don't book no flights under his name. But then again, it's like Little Durk is a big time rapper, you know what I'm saying? And he got a card maybe that a lot of people use. You know, he didn't say why they shouldn't use it. You know what I mean? He just say don't book no flights under his name. So we don't really know that they always use his card even before they went on that killing. You know what I mean? They try to kill Corner Ron. They probably used the card before, but I guess the prosecutor's gonna use that right there. They're really trying to hook Little Durk and be like, listen, this is what he said. He said don't use the card. Like, you know what I mean? So this is wild, man.
According to the indictment, Banks had made clear in, quote, coded language that he'd pay a bounty for the murder. Authorities arrested 5 defendants in Chicago Thursday morning and say the FBI learned Banks was booked on 3 international flights before his arrest. If convicted, Banks and the other defendants face a maximum sentence of life in federal prison.
Wow, man. Chad, that's crazy, man. Like this whole case is wild because Lil Durk is a big time rapper and I like a lot of his music. You know what I mean? And it's like this right here can really derail his career, derail his life, as in he might end up spending the rest of his life in prison, man, which is crazy. But let's react to this YouTube, man, Cuff Boys. He gonna break it down, the paperwork, and also the opening statements today. Let's go.
Opening statements for the Lil Durk trial. The 3 defendants at trial are obviously Durk, Dee, and Brown Eyes. Brown Eyes is one of the shooters. 3 confirmed snitches are OTF Vani, OTF Jam, and Flocka. His subscriber now, let's go. There's the legendary Brian Steele walking in this morning. Shout out all the reporters that are there in person. Taylor says prosecution opening statements. During opening statements, the prosecution laid out its case against Durk, Banks, and his alleged orchestration of the killing of Quando Rondo. Kayvon Grant, or Vonnie, who pled guilty, is testifying for the prosecution and was described as Banks' personal assistant arranging guns and cars on Banks' behalf. Prosecution.
Chad, you gotta think like these are Little Durk's friends. You know what I'm saying? He kind of been around for years and years, and these guys about to be on the stand snitching on this guy, telling everything to get this guy arrested. You know what I mean? To get a reduced sentence on their crime because these guys already pleaded guilty to the murder.
Prosecution said Banks was consumed with getting revenge against Quando for the murder of King Von. Those involved, including Keith Jones, or Flocka, who is testifying for the defense, and David Lindsay, or Brown Eyes, were flown into San Diego on August 18, 2022. Wait, Keith Jones is cooperating with the feds. I don't know why she said he's testifying for the defense. He's confirmed cooperating with the feds. Flocka. Mel tweeted out, confirmed cooperating witnesses. OTF Jam, obviously we all know that. Kayvon Grant, or
Now, OTF Jam is the guy that was going around killing a lot of people. He was the first one that they said was really snitching on Lil Durk, you know? So I don't know because they say OTF Jam was really killing people, which is crazy.
Vonnie, and Keith Jones Flocka. All three have pled guilty and will testify. So Brown Eyes and Flocka were flown into San Diego on the promise they would be paid for killing Rondo. Prosecution called the case both revenge and reward, describing the morning of August 18th as frantic in nature. The group traveled with only the shirts on their backs. People laughed at me saying, wait, so they brought no luggage? That's kind of what that means, right? They were in the airport. They have footage of them in the airport. They do. I guess they have no luggage. Prosecution's trying to say like they didn't even come prepared for a trip. Like they came to only kill someone. August 18th and 19th, 2 white sedans with tinted windows, one rented and one stolen, allegedly stalked Quando Rondo before he was targeted at a gas station. August 19th, 18 bullets were fired. Wait, on August 18th they were stalking him too? I think I remember that. So the day before they were out hunting too, apparently. I think I remember seeing that. 18 bullets were fired. 3 shooters were dressed in black and wearing ski masks. So the shooters, I believe, are, I know Brown Eyes is a confirmed shooter, David Lindsay. I can't remember who the other 2 shooters were off the top of my head. I'm not going to say.
Like an OTF Jam.
Everything I'm saying is alleged, by the way. The prosecution, this is their theory. Just want to clarify. Prosecution alleged Banks was at a rental home waiting for updates by phone. GPS data from their rental car allegedly show it traveling to Banks' rental home multiple times over the 2 days.
So that right there shows that these guys who did the killing followed Quando Rondo's car. That car had a GPS on it, and when they did the shooting and while they was traveling and looking to see where Quando Rondo was at, they ended up going to where Little Durk was at their house. You know what I mean? So that right there, that right there kind of hurts. You know what I mean? Because that car was used in a killing. You know, and it went back to where Lil Durk was at. So that means Lil Durk know what the hell was going on and what happened. This is wild. This is diabolical.
The rental car they say that was out stalking Quando Rondo is going to a house Durk was living at, pretty much. That's not good for the jury to
It's
hear.
crazy.
But keep in mind, this is opening statement, so it's not anything they say is not meant to be evidence. It's just opening. Prosecution also alleged Banks later tried to flee the country and ran from the FBI. Defense contradicted this. Shout out Michael Blackshire on Twitter. He said there's 1 black juror, a black woman. And I think there was like 5 white people and 5 Latino and then 1 Asian. I think that's what I remember someone else tweeted. All right, defense opening statements. The defense argued Banks was not the leader and said the evidence will show he wanted to uplift others and provide opportunities. They told the jury that the history leading up to the murder goes long before the prosecution wants the jury to know, highlighting that Kayvon Grant, or Vonnie, and Davon Bennett, nicknamed King Von, were cousins and extremely close. It detailed that Grant managed King Von's finances, lived with him, and the 2 even shared a bank account. Hold on.
Man.
Vonnie was this close. He was a cousin, and he out here ratting. I'm just kidding. That's what people were going to say. That's crazy. Defense reiterated multiple times the 2 were close as could be and said Grant was there when his cousin was shot in 2020. Defense said one of King Von's final words to Grant was, "Why did you let me get shot?"
That's
Oh
crazy.
my God. Rest in peace, King Von, man. That's some crazy shit. They agree with the prosecution that this murder was driven by a need for revenge, but Grant enacted that revenge, not Banks. But they stated that text and messages the prosecution would show as evidence was taken out of context. They highlighted that Banks was not a leader. They further said people did not even listen to him. Wait, not even listen to Durk? Come on, bro. That's kind of funny. Like, Durk's not a leader of OTF. No one even listened to his orders or anything. The defense said that Banks was a successful, well-known face, which is why prosecution was looking to blame him When Grant was approached as a search warrant was being executed at his home, the defense stated a light bulb came on. They said Grant told officials whose credit card was used, alleging Grant knowingly used the company card and turned it on Banks when he was pressed. The defense said it was confident it will prove to the jury that Grant was the mind behind the operation. I'm trying to find exact quotes on what everyone has said. The defense said in opening, the prosecution mentioned during their opening statement that Casey, or Jam, is a...
So this guy right here is OTF Jam, and he's the one that allegedly been going on a killing spree the last few years. You know, I mean, he already did 12 years in prison. So when he came home, Lil Durk gave this guy $50,000. You know what I mean? And also, his baby mom got killed in the whole process of just this whole thing. So this whole case, this whole thing around Corner Rondo, Little Durk, OTF Jam, it's just crazy and wild, man. You know what I mean? This was the guy that they say was really snitching on Little Durk, that's really ready to tell on Little Durk. You know what I mean? Even though he's gonna be found guilty anyway, that he already pleaded guilty, he gonna try to get a lesser sentence. You know what I mean? So they all telling on Little Durk. So this is just crazy.
killer. He's also desperate. Goldberg said. Goldberg is one of Durk's lawyers. She did the opening statements. Holy shit. So it sounds like Jam is going to admit he killed people. OTF Jam was interviewed by law enforcement 30 times. What? This is just next level snitching right here, boys. Holy shit. We agree that it was a tragedy that Mr. Robinson or Lil Pab was killed that day. Mr. Banks was not there. He was not connected to it. Goldberg said during defense. Lil Pab's family is there. It's obviously clear that he was not there. He was living in Encino with his wife. He was living in LA because he's a performer. You will hear from Kayvon Grant, OTF Vonnie. He will testify he was Mr. Banks' personal assistant. He was the guy who did everything. He booked the rental car. He put the fake license plate on. He bought ski masks, Goldberg said during the opening statements. Yeah, they have footage of OTF Vonnie buying ski masks. So dumb. Their allegation of murder for hire, there's no money to follow. No payment, no bounty. There's not a murder for hire when nobody gets paid. Do they have proof of payment, or is it just witness testimony saying, yes, that cash was used to pay us?
As I learned that, I think like even though the prosecutors probably don't have a payment from Little Durk to pay them, I think like it can be on some type like, okay, he said this, you know what I mean? He said he gonna pay them, you know what I mean? Like a verbal agreement, because we already know in the courts that verbal agreements do go in court, you know what I mean? It's legal. So maybe that's probably what's going on. I don't know. Like I say, man, this whole case is wild, yo.
I feel like that's literally all they have. They've been showing like Durk with large sums of cash, and they're like, this is how he does it. But they're like, do you have anything besides witness testimony to say he paid them with that cash? Probably not. All right, now Dee Dee's lawyer said this. Dee Dee's not cooperating. He's one of the defendants. Quote unquote, OTF Jam is eager to kill Quando Rondo. Jam is angry that Mr. Wilson, OTF Dee Dee, is not participating. Dee Dee did not admit to a crime, quote unquote. His lawyer Craig Hardball said during his opening statements. Machine Gun Kelly is there? Bizarre. What is happening? I didn't even know they were friends. I'm going to read some of this Rolling Stone article to see if I missed anything. Durk sat at his defense table as his lawyer, Marissa Goldberg, said Kayvon Grant was initially identified by authorities as the one in charge of the deadly shooting. Interesting. She said when authorities busted down Grant's door, he realized his only way out was to minimize his involvement and give them someone bigger. They were pressing him about big fish, and he thought, oh man, I've got an insurance policy. He said Grant, who worked for Durk at his music management company, Astronaut Sounds, had access to a company credit card and told investigators that he had booked travel for the group alleged hitman at Banks' direction. Goldberg said that account was false. Durk wasn't there, blah, blah, blah. Grant was the only one to organize the deadly ambush at the center of the trial for his own reasons. He was the one who bought the shooter's black ski mask at REI. REI expensive as fuck. Gotta say, that's like literally one of the most expensive stores. And it's modern in there. You know they got cameras everywhere.
Exactly.
Why are you buying masks at REI, bro? You know they got cameras in there. Like what?
These guys did like a sloppy hit, man. Like they try to kill somebody. Like, listen, I'm not condoning it, but I'm just saying these guys did it all sloppy. Like, this is crazy.
What are we doing? And procured the plane tickets, hotel accommodations, and vehicles. Banks 33 is pled not guilty. Okay. Prosecutors say the hitman stalked Bowman in LA, ambushed him at a gas station, blah, blah, blah. Goldberg said money that Grant had the deepest personal motive, noting that his father and King Von's father went back decades, making their sons extraordinarily tight. Grant personally managed King Von in Atlanta and was the one who frantically rushed him to the hospital as the rapper was bleeding out. Goldberg said that Grant was traumatized when the beloved performer died and was left floundering in the aftermath. He was the one consumed by the urge to strike back, she argued, whereas Banks channeled his anger and frustration into his artwork. Prosecution says it's about revenge, stalking, and premeditated murder. Oh, surveillance video of the Brazen Daylight shooting. Yikes. Banks and his two co-defendants at trial, Didi and Brown Eyes, separately traveled to LA along with other men involved in the shooting to hunt and kill Quando. We know all this. Jurors held text message Banks sent Grant on August 18th, the day before the shooting in LA, in which he wrote, "Don't book no flights," under names involved with me. We've known about that text. Weiner said Banks had learned Quando was visiting LA and had determined it was time to get it back at him, and while he was vulnerable, fish out the water in a city not of his own. Prosecutor saying fish out the water. That is crazy. Weiner told jurors the evidence would show the Banks was the one consumed with revenge, and they deployed Jam as one of the shooters. Okay, so Jam was a shooter. He then pointed to the group text message from August 4th, 2023, in which Banks allegedly warned others that Hester or Jam could not be trusted. Jam ready to snitch. He gonna tell soon. As long as we don't break, they can tell him whatever. Blah, blah, blah. The judge previously ruled jurors can hear lyrics from Banks' songs, Piss Me Off and Who Wants Smoke and Aha. Don't respond to shit with Vine. I'm like, fuck it. You trip and go get your gun. They dropping locations. I'm getting it done. Fuck tweeting. We sliding. The feds are coming. The jurors hearing that, crazy. All right, that's it for opening. I'm going to make another video.
Listen, man, this whole case, like I say, it is pretty wow. You know what I mean? Because Lil Durk is famous, you know what I mean? So 9 out of 10, they're gonna already think, okay, yeah, you got the money to hire these guys to kill Quando Rondo. You know what I mean? These guys, as you know, they use your credit card. You know what I mean? So them guys about to be on the stand and telling Lil Durk. So I don't know. And all man, I think like, can Lil Durk really beat this case? Can he really beat this case, man? I'm gonna say yeah and no. You know what I mean? Because mostly the only thing I'm really seeing they got is that text message. You know what I mean? But then again, like these are the guys that can show that listen, Little Dirk hired us to kill Quando Rondo. You know what I mean? Paid us and everything, text messages, phone calls, or whatever. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. It's gonna be hard, man. It really, really is gonna be hard. But this is day one. And I'm gonna try to follow this case every day and try to make videos as much as I can. But until then, man, let me know your thoughts in the comments about this, yo. Y'all think Little Dirk can beat this case? Or you know what? It's over. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, yo. Don't forget to like and subscribe.